Hello, my name is Anjani, and here is the upcoming astrology chart for the full moon, which will be happening on Wednesday, the 24th of October at 9:45 a.m. That will be the exact point when the sun and moon are directly in opposition to each other at 1 degree. The moon is 1 degree Taurus, the sun is 1 degree Scorpio. And you can see we have Venus right next to the sun. Venus is going to be at 4 degrees Scorpio. And then we have Uranus at 0 degrees right next to the moon. So this pole between the sun and the moon is super, super charged. It's already a supercharged full moon because Taurus and Scorpio. And anytime Taurus and Scorpio are in opposition to each other, it really draws up life force energy, activates your prana, your energy body. But now with Venus, with the sun, it's bringing in this extra energy of Venus, which is in retrograde right now. So there's this theme that's happening with the Venus cycle, which is transitioning from that version of that intense goddess that has been hidden and repressed and burned and disvalued and disembodied and dismembered and just broken up and cut apart, this form of the goddess that is very deep, powerful, magical, witchy, transformative. This is the healer, that like the shamanic healer that has been hidden and subdued. There's this massive transformation going on right now with that form of the goddess. So with the sun being right next to Venus, this is really illuminating. It seems to me like a big opening into what's next, what's possible, what is going to be the new version of this Scorpio goddess. And anytime Uranus is involved, there is a huge sense of unpredictability, not knowing what's going to happen. So Uranus being in this full moon opposition brings this sense of people who are comfortable with change. This sense is okay. It's exciting. It's fun. People who are not comfortable with change, can be terrifying. It can be very uncomfortable because Uranus comes to bring the change. Uranus wants revolution. Uranus wants to have bigger awakenings and expansion beyond anything that anybody can predict. So to me, this upcoming full moon seems very potent, for the feminine, and feminine is not synonymous with female. So for the feminine in all of us, the feminine energy that is like Shakti, that is alive and awake and pulsating, that sort of when a baby is being born and the womb is pulsating and trembling and contracting and expanding, and there's dilation and contract, dilate, contract, all these things going on. This is what it feels like to me. And by looking at the chart, it's exciting to me. It's like, ooh, what's going to happen? Even though it could be dangerous, and it could be, Uranus is also right now in the sign of Taurus, which has to do specifically with changes in the earth, volcanoes, hurricanes, earthquakes. And for people who live in areas where that intense weather patterning happens, it maybe isn't the same excitement, and maybe it is. When I lived in Key West, we always had hurricanes and we always had to evacuate, and I loved it. I loved the danger and the excitement. And even when we did get flooded and couldn't do anything, people's houses were destroyed, and you never know if it's going to be you that your stuff is destroyed. But there is this, for me personally, I have a strong connection with Uranus on my natal chart. So it's something that I have cultivated throughout my life, because it's part of what's woven into the matrix of me, to be able to bob and weave and, take what the word is, like, go with the punches, or, just being able to dance and move with what is coming and what is going, and um, not getting too comfortable in a thing so much that you want it to stay the way it is. Like, I love waking up and not knowing what's going to happen that day. When I was in the Navy, I had a role as a hospital corpsman, so I was in the hospital, but I never knew which area of the hospital I was going to get called to work in, because I was trained in many areas. So I had this great flexibility and changeability, adaptability. It's also one of the functions of the kidneys. So when you are adaptable, you're able to slide in, slide out, duck, bob and weave, roll with the punches. So this is what the Uranus energy is asking from us right now, is to be able to stay in the flow. And even when you get knocked over, I got fell down today pretty intense in a yoga practice I was doing, and it really shook me up. I was like, oh my God, is my neck okay? Is my back okay? Everything was okay, but that initial jostle that you weren't expecting, it shifts the assemblage point, and that's what Uranus is doing in our lives right now. So the more that you can be aware, open-eyed, available and open to what is coming in, what's going out, where the energy is moving. This is going to be a very valuable tool for you right now, whatever part of the country you live in, whether it's there's weather patterns going on or not. There's internal weather patterns going on for all of us all the time. And this energy of the full moon is really initiating us into that emotional intelligence, and that intelligence that is innate to your cells and your DNA, that knows what to do. And the more that you let your thinking mind, who thinks it knows what to do, the more that you, I don't want to say give it a rest, because what I've been finding is, if I give it a job, something that it is responsible to do, then that allows my DNA and my cells and my muscles and the memory in my muscles and everything that's related to innate wisdom. Giving my mind something to do allows that innate wisdom in my body to do what it knows to do. And I'm trusting that process and communicating with my body in new and unusual ways. That is, I think, what this full moon is really about, with Venus next to the sun and Uranus next to the moon. The other thing I wanted to mention about this full moon is this here. We have Mercury next to Jupiter in the sign of Scorpio. So here we see 4 close planets. Close planets means that it's closer to the Earth. I like to call these personal planets. So it's something that is closer to your own body, mind. There's on your natal chart, these are planets that are more specific to you, your intentions in this life. And all 4 of these are in Scorpio. So this is really intense, really mystical and deep and sensual. There's a lot of intimacy involved with Scorpio, especially with Venus and the sun and Mercury and Jupiter, all of those planets being in Scorpio. There's an intense longing for intimacy, passion, feeling the emotions, being in touch with the physical body and that rhythm and pulse. One of the modalities that I'm trained in is cranial sacral therapy, and literally feeling the pulse of the body. Like, this is something that turns me on so much. I mean, my practice of body work is something that I can't imagine not doing. Even if, if I didn't need to work, I would still do body work, because that connection with another human body and the rhythm and pulse of their body, sensing into the patterns and flows of where they are, this is something very scorpionic and very Taurus, that is up right now for us. So maybe even getting body work, going to any kind of practitioner that is going to be a one-on-one intimate, whether it's palm analysis or foot reflexology, cranial sacral therapy, full body massage. Any of those kind of things are going to be really, really beneficial for awakening, turning on, activating things being the innate wisdom in your body. It's time, and it's like that wisdom is ready to come up and meet the mind. Meet the mind, meaning that the mind has been driving and leading the show for so long. The mind being that, I think of this aspect of us like Shiva, which is a masculine, whereas the feminine is the physical body, the pelvis, the hips, the belly, the information in the body. And this is what wants to come up and be met and be expressed and used in the new coming of the age, like what's happening on the world stage right now. So let's see, Mercury, Jupiter together, and they are in a harmonious aspect with Chiron. So this gives me an idea that possibly that part of you, the part of all of us collectively, that is the alchemist, your inner healer, the part of you that knows how to mix and mingle with all aspects of yourself. The merge master, the what has been called the wounded healer. There's a lot more empowering words that I would like to be using for Chiron. So let's start thinking about Chiron in more empowered ways. So the alchemist is a really good phrase that I like to use for Chiron, because the alchemist to me denotes power of bringing together a bunch of different parts, stirring it up in a a cauldron or a pot, and playing with that primordial soup of whatever is being combined. The pot being your body, the pot being the vessel that you are, and Chiron being the chemist, the alchemist, who's working all those aspects of yourself. So that's in harmonious relationship with Mercury and Jupiter. So this expansion and evolution of that inner alchemist. And there's a communicative aspect of it with Mercury there. So bringing out some form of either a verbal communication or with your body, with dance. During Scorpio season, belly dancing is a must, because of those movements that we do that really unlock magic that's in the joints. Belly dance yoga is also another thing where you're moving the joints into different positions and breathing. So there's space being opened up and information being unlocked and revealed from those joints. So anything that you can do really physically that gets you moving, gets your blood flowing, and the body sort of undulating, if possible, is really, really good for Scorpio season. So I'm going to go ahead and stop with that brief reading for the full moon. Here's another look at it. If you have any questions, anything to add, any comments, I would love to hear them. Leave them there in the comments. Please follow, subscribe to my channel. I also have an Instagram page. My name is Venus Gemstone on Instagram. I love interacting with people and answering questions, really, because your questions help me to bring my big picture perspective into a funneled piece of information that makes sense to more people, so please ask questions. I really, really enjoy that. Thank you so much. Happy full moon. I look forward to connecting with you soon.